Well, first of all, let me welcome everyone here tonight. Thank you for coming. I know Alexis appreciates you all. This is a celebration of a working life, but if you know Alexis like we know Alexis, this is certainly a celebration of love and friendship and connection. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. The bathrooms are outside this door, so you take a right. That'd be whatever. So if you have to take a break, feel free to do that. I'd like to thank the committee that put together this event tonight. So just a quick round of applause for there's so many people that I'd like to also thank the band, the Sturdivants, for being here tonight. Quick round for them. We're also selling CDs on the table there and other things, so if you're interested in that. The other thing I'd like to draw your attention to, we don't have an open mic tonight, unfortunately, but if you would like to leave a note for Alexis for her scrapbook, there is official cards on the table. They look like this. So during the course of the evening, if you would like to make some notes, some personal thoughts about Alexis and your relationship with Alexis, we're going to gather all those up and create a nice little scrapbook for her. There we go. One more time for the Sturdivants. Thank you. This is a very special part of the program now that we bring up certain individuals to reflect a little bit on Alexis's mission and service and work with us over the years.
I gotta get coffee to get ready for this.
Okay. All right. Anybody need coffee? Well, while she's getting coffee, let me make a special announcement. On the backs of your program, if there is a red dot on the back of the program, you get to keep the flower centerfold, the table, or centerpiece. That's centerpiece. Yeah. If you have a red dot and you don't want this centerpiece, you have to take it anyway. Or it's going to the bean feed, which will be very exciting. Okay, Alexis, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, this is great. Okay. By the way, we don't have an open mic tonight, but if you do want to reflect on your relationship with Alexis, which I'm sure she will cherish, there are cards in the middle of the table. This is a great time to do that. Please write in the front of the cards because we're going to be using those and putting those in the scrapbook. So the first person I'd like to invite up, I had a pleasure of meeting him several years ago, and I got to tell you, the energy that comes from this guy is amazing. He was very moving to me personally when I got to talk to him, and I love his energy. So I'd like to welcome to the mic Reverend Dan Sturdivant.
Woohoo!
Hello. Well, yeah, how long do I have?
You're over, Dan. Thanks for
Okay.
coming.
No, I don't have much. I have something that I put together. Some words of a blessing for Alexis, who has been a real blessing to me. And I was trying to figure out, why am I sad that she's retiring? I mean, we're still probably going to see one another about the same amount, and there's no reason that we can't, continue communicating, and social media and all of that. And I realized she's going to be in a different place than I am. She's making a transition. And for those of you who are retired, it's a big transition. I mean, we should honor like baptism and marriage and death. I mean, it's a big transition. Not like death, but anyway, the last little comment I have before I want to read this blessing for Alexis is how appropriate, sticky chicken. Because Alexis's personality is like sticky chicken. It's this rich, messy, but just really satisfying and lovely and great to be around, and probably raises my cholesterol, but perfect, just perfect. So this is I better put on my glasses for this. This is if any of you all know John O'Donohue. He died a few years ago. He was a poet, and he's Irish, famous for his blessings. Actually, somebody else took some of his words, put them together in a blessing for me. And I've rewritten them and stolen some more of John O'Donoghue's words and put this together for Alexis. Because blessing is really, really important. It's very important to me, and it seems to me blessing is what we do that is like God. We're marked by God with God's blessing. It's what we do that God does. We bless. We can give and receive blessing. So, I'm writing a book about this, which you can buy. If it's ever published. My dear Alexis, my friend, my companion on this journey, may the light of your soul bless your retirement with love and warmth of heart. May you see in what you do the beauty of your soul. In your heart, may there be a sanctuary, for the stillness where clarity is born. May your retirement be infused with passion and creativity, and may you have the wisdom to balance compassion and challenge. May the sacredness of your work in retirement bring light and renewal to you and to those who receive your work. May dawn find hope in your heart, approaching your new day with dreams, possibilities, and promises. May evening find you gracious and fulfilled. May God's presence, quiet, inspire and renew you on this new portion of your journey. Bless you, Alexis. Amen.
Well, it's fitting the next person I'd like to have up runs our Serve the World ministry at Brentwood Community United Methodist Church, and participated actually in one of our first mission works to Haiti with Lisa Slade. So I'd like to bring up Patti Bartlebaugh.
This was a big thing for me to have to do, to sort of be the congregation spokesperson. I think it was just a lot, and trying to do it so that it wasn't like a funeral. I was on SPRC when Alexis was first hired, and I can still remember that first time that we met her and for our final approval. And you might never, as Maya Angelou says, you might never remember what's said or what's heard, but you remember how you feel. And I remember the excitement I had of the possibility of what could happen to our church. And truly, I had no idea what was going to happen next. Alexis made such a positive, big difference in our church. Our church has grown so much, and not just in numbers. We've grown as Christians and learning to know what a disciple of Christ is and can be. I'm not going to even try to list everything that we've done, because there's just so much, but we went from being a very self-centered, egocentric church to being one that is all over the world, and Alexis was really the pushing force that helped with that. I started to think of how Alexis has affected my life, and when Alexis came, my daughters were 10 and 11, and they're now 20 and 21. They're older, and how they've changed. But one thing that Alexis always did, when you have children and they're close in age, people think of them as the same person, and Alexis never thought of my girls as the same person. My girls are very, very different, and Alexis always respected that, and I think she did that for everyone in this room. You were an individual, and she knew you for what you were and who you are, and she also knew for what you could be. And for me, she always had that little push, and sometimes I didn't want to do what maybe Alexis thought I could do, but she was usually right, and I could do it. But she respected if I said no, too, and I appreciate that. We're really going to miss you, Alexis, and I do feel sad, but I also feel great excitement for you and for this next part, and just wanted to know that we all love you, and we all wish the very best for you in this next part of your journey.
I promise I wouldn't cry. Okay. Yeah, there we go. I'll just take it out. There we go. How's that? Is that better? All right, there we go. All right, the next person we'd like to bring up is former District Superintendent David Bennett. David. Reverend David Bennett. Thank you, David.
Guy's pretty tall. Well, Alexis, since she left Stockton, would every once in a while give me a call and say, I'm going to be in Stockton, I'm going to do this and do that. Can we gather and get a cup of coffee? So often we do that. So we were having coffee a month ago, and we're sharing our life story. And she said, I'm retiring, and we're going to have this party, and I'd really like you to be one of the speakers because you're really old and you remember me. And once I got done smacking her around, I said, sure, it'd be an honor. So I just wrote some things down, some sort of snapshots, if you will, of my life with Alexis. I do want to warn you that I'm the incoming president of the Retired Clergy Association. I know that. And you get a free lunch.
I'll be there.
You be there, because next year it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I first met Alexis somewhere in the mid-90s when I chaired the probationers committee of the Board of Ordained Ministry. And yes, I'm old. Not as old as Alexis, but I'm old. And she came through that process. And back in those days, some of you may be familiar with the Myers-Briggs. We used all those letters to figure out who we were. We had not yet heard of the Enneagram and all those numbers. I'm still not sure what number I am or where my wing is. You're sure? Is it 7? I think it's a 7. Yeah, okay. And I have no idea what Alexis is. I have not tried to figure that out. So life went on. When I was appointed superintendent of the then Delta District, I was thrilled to discover that my friend Alexis was serving the church in Linden. We had a lot of fun. One of the fun times was that Alexis and some of the pastors in Stockton did a joint confirmation retreat. And so Alexis thought it would be great fun to have the district superintendent and the bishop come to the worship service, the closing service at Morris Chapel at University of Pacific. And so Alexis is a really nice person, and she's really smart. And she knew where her bread was buttered in terms of her personal life. The bishop was in charge. The bishop got to do all the fun stuff. And the district superintendent just tagged along. I did something there. I don't have any idea what it was. But it was clear you were kissing up to the bishop. Well, I'm pretty smart myself. That didn't stop me. I did a little planning ahead. And so it was that in 1998, some folks in Linden were really mad at me, but they're still mad at me for other reasons. But Alexis got appointed to Grace Church in Stockton. So when I arrived at Central Church in Stockton, my friend was there waiting for me with a long list of ministries that I would certainly want to be involved in, wouldn't I? Well, of course I would. But it was during that time that I learned about and came to greatly respect Alexis's deep, profound, sincere commitment to interfaith dialogue. Her commitment to understanding and supporting the faith journeys of others, as has been pointed out, is a gift to us all. She served as the president of Stockton's Metro Ministry, was active in the interfaith clergy group, and helped us organize the memorial services for the 9/11 commemorations. And of course, she made sure that I was at every one of those committee meetings. Some of you know how hard it is to say no to Alexis. In addition to all this interfaith stuff, we had fun working together on many United Methodist gatherings in Stockton, along with John and others. But another very, very important event took place when we arrived in Stockton, maybe more profound than anything that ever happened. Our dog needed a vet. And so I asked Alexis, and to this day, our dogs, we now have 2, go to visit, actually a member of John's congregation. We go see Dr. Fox, and when we can't take our dogs with us on trips, we go to Allen's Pet Resort. All because of you. All these years later. And Annie and Tucker, thank you.
Well, they're welcome.
They're welcome.
They're welcome.
Well, one Christmas we discovered that Alexis would be all by herself. And so I approached Alexis and said, you know, the Bennetts are a weird and crazy group, but you're certainly welcome to join us for Christmas dinner. And so she came. And we had a great time. She seemed also to have a great time, but she never came back. Now, I've always been afraid to ask, and I'm not going to ask now. It was either our crazy family, which is highly possible, or maybe it was the crab that we had for dinner. Yeah. So Alexis, as Patty said, we don't want to turn this into a memorial service, because you got a long ways to go, kid. But we just want to celebrate with you and all of these people gathered here to share in this moment, who love you and wish you nothing but the best. And so we celebrate with you your zest for life. I had to write stuff down. I'm old, you know. And I didn't put it on my little tiny phone, because I'm also blind. Oh, I wish that was your idea. Anyway. My friend, we celebrate your zest for life and your joyful anticipation of what is still to come. We celebrate your beautiful singing voice, your commitment to your faith and to the faith of others, your great laugh and your easy tears of compassion, your love of people, your willingness to risk walking alongside others on their way, your commitment to justice for all of God's children and all of God's creation. And I thank you for our friendship, your advice, your support, all this, and you're alive to hear it all besides. Now, when you get to Stockton, I want to invite you to have coffee. But we'll go to Pete's, because it's right around the corner from where you live. We don't have to go to those Starbucks places. So, welcome to Stockton again.
So we have a couple of really special presentations now. The first from the United Methodist Women, Roxana Sivas.
So it's a tradition with United Methodist Women to give special people, men or women, who do special things, a gift to mission recognition. And so tonight, we're honoring Alexis with a gift to mission recognition. And we purchased one step up. Hers has a little sapphire in it because she's so special to us. Alexis. Wow.
There we go. That's a little tricky. Representing the city of Brentwood, I'd like to invite up now City Councilman Jean Clare.
Good evening. Let's thank the Strappies again. That was beautiful music. Thank you. Alexis, will you come up here and join me, please? We have all been blessed by your ministry of God's love. You have been our good shepherd for many years, and I want to personally thank you for the kindness you've shown me and helped me get through some ups and downs and some difficult times. So thank you very much for that. Tonight is my honor representing the city of Brentwood, and we have a certificate of recognition presented to Reverend Alexis Easton with appreciation for her many years of service to the community, and with best wishes for her retirement, presented this first day of June 2014. Congratulations.
That was weird. Okay, we're almost to the end. We're going to have Vernon close us out here, and then we're going to have one very special guest come up after Vernon. But while we're setting up Vernon, I do want to draw your attention to the memories table over there, if you can go check that out. Also, I think they're signing a picture, so if you haven't had an opportunity to do that, as we exit tonight, grab a pen and do that. We're also looking for some of the relationship cards there. So if you haven't filled those out, this is a great time to do it. Make sure you grab your centerpiece on the way out, or it's going to show up in the bean feed, so that'll be good. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vernon Noble.
You know, after hearing all of this eloquence and wit tonight, I've decided I'm going to just throw away my notes. They were such good ideas. They were so funny. But how could they equal the wit that we've heard already? A little bit of history. This church had no full-time pastor back during the war and the depression of the 30s and the war of the 40s. And it wasn't until 1946 that finally the bishop granted us the idea of having a full-time pastor. Since then, there have been 13 altogether. Some stayed for 3 or 4 years. A couple stayed for only 1 year. 2 of them have been here 9 years. One of those who was here 9 years came riding into town on a motorcycle. And what a lot of tongue wagging that started throughout our congregation. But still in all, it worked well. It worked very well. Alexis is one of the 2 who have been here 9 years. It's been a pleasant 9 years. I grew to know her best first because she presided at the memorial service for my wife of 61 years, who died just shortly, 3 or 4 months after Alexis arrived. I was too stunned at that time to really listen to the service too much. But then, time after time, I've gone to funeral services or memorial services directed by this woman, and they've always been touching. She knows the right things to say. She shows her feelings. Generally, that's part of her life. Her feelings are really pretty close to the surface. Just witness somebody say something funny and wow, away she goes. When she's talking to our young disciples, some of them will say cute little things. She bursts into laughter. What else can you do? But also, there's that tender spot close to the service, surface of her being. And she admitted this morning she sometimes almost breaks up. I notice it frequently when she's reading the scripture, something touches her heart and her voice breaks just a little. What a personality. Somebody to know, somebody to cherish. I had thought that I was going to say that leaders are known frequently by the things that people who've worked with them have done. Whether the leader has started the idea or not, doesn't matter. They occurred on her watch. Some of you have already enumerated those. Much of what I've heard is a sense of mission. And there's so much mission in our church. Haiti, Guatemala later this year, but some of it's right in town. Our Hope House, which takes care of so many poor people with food, clothing, that kind of thing. Alexis may not have started all these, but they've happened on her watch. And because they happened on her watch, she essentially is getting credit for them. No. Doesn't any leader get that? Isn't the way that you're known or the group is known? Somebody who works with you does things. She's done many things. I don't know how many she can take credit for at all. But that doesn't make any difference. Think of the progress we have made in the last 9 years. Things have changed. There's much idea of mission in the church. And there's one mission that hasn't even been mentioned, and that is taking care of people of need who can no longer drive. Volunteers in mission. They get me to the hospital. They get me to the grocery store. What would I do without them? And I know it's not just me, that throughout the church, and maybe must be several other situations identical to mine. I'm going to save the last page here. I'm not going to throw it away. Because the time has come to say goodbye. Now, how do we express it? Alexis will be in the pulpit one more Sunday at least. She was very moving today, the communion service. Broke me up, really. But it was great. Now, how are we going to say, I don't want to say farewell. That's too final. She won't be so far away. It's only in Stockton. And even Brentwood is growing to the point that someday it may surpass Stockton. Who knows? So how do we say thank you and goodbye? This dinner has been a testament to how much we love her. But still, what are we going to say the next time we see her and we know that she's leaving? She's a godly person, there's no question about it. God will go with her. But it's hard to say. It's almost God will go with her. I enjoy what our Hispanic friends say, which is much the same thing, much more mellifluous. So, vaya con Dios. Go with God. In your hands, in your mind, in your body. Vaya con Dios. And all of those who gathered here tonight to give tribute to Alexis said, what did they say? Amen. Amen. I didn't hear you the first time. Say it again. Amen. Good for you.
Well, we have one more special guest to bring up today. Someone to really know, someone to really cherish, someone truly to admire, but mostly someone to love. Pastor Alexis Easton.
Wow. Yeah. I guess it's appropriate to be at a loss for words at a moment like this. Oh, goodness. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being able to take risks and change. Thank you for listening and considering ideas and possibilities that at first your body and your mind resisted at least. Thank you for expanding your sense of how God is active in the world. I have watched you do this. It has been one of the greatest blessings of my life, and it does not end tonight. The Holy One is always beyond what we can understand and is always reaching out to touch and mold and support us and guide us. It is the profound mystery at the heart of creation that each one of us, with all our gifts and our foibles that can drive ourselves and others nuts, are loved by what we call God. That is just an amazing opportunity and challenge. So I am not called to preach right now. I am called to pray. So I invite you to, as you are comfortable, join hands with another child of God movement and stand if you choose to. It is always a good opportunity in prayer to check that you can really feel the soles of your feet on the floor. That you are connected to the creation in which you move and walk. That you are aware that you are breathing, which is one of our most fundamental gifts of God. Holy One, we have claimed your presence tonight in a way of joy and laughter and tears, sharing of memories, acknowledging possibilities, wondering about the future of the Brentwood Community United Methodist Church. I give you thanks for the generosity of this evening. I give you thanks for 147 years of ministry looking toward a sesquicentennial for this congregation. I pray your blessing on them. I pray your blessing on the pastor and her husband, Reverend Hesung Hong Lee, who is coming. I pray a blessing on the relationships that will be formed. And Holy One, I pray for your guidance. And I absolutely know that as you have touched hearts and minds, you are not done, and these people are ready and open. Thank you for loving them, guiding them, loving me, and guiding me. Help us all, Lord, through the grace, compassion, justice, and peace of Jesus Christ, to move forward. And God's people said,
Amen.
I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Tonight concludes our program. So if you would like to check out the memory section over there, I'll leave the cards on the table. And thank you so much for coming tonight.